I started doing karate around kindergarten. I early on it was a lot of like tumbling, just kind of for fun. Not super serious. It was just kind of kid stuff. Maybe break a couple boards here and there. Um, but I kept going with it, and I think it helped out a lot, especially with crossover in other sports. Something that karate helped me a lot with the sports I play today is being able to repeat the same or similar movements over and over and over again. Like some days we just do a side kick every for an hour, just throwing pretty much the same kick over and over again, different ways of throwing it, and that correlates a lot with like discus or shot put. Maybe a little bit less with football. There's some more variation there, but with shot put, it's the same movement over and over and over again. You're just perfecting that same movement. Maybe a little bit of balance. That goes back to karate. I've had pretty good balance and flexibility. Since I was young, I used to be able to do splits, front, back, sideways, all that type of stuff. I could do a lot of stuff. Like flexibility wise, I'm still kind of flexible. I think really the only thing that carries over is balance because footwork, you're on your toes a lot for throwing. Um, at least in shot put and discus, you're on your toes a lot, you're spinning. Um, you're, but with football, there's a little bit more kind of like on the inside of your foot. You got to stay balanced on both legs. And at times you'll be on one foot to accelerate or to change directions, but it's kind of different movement overall. But I think just having balance and coordination for both sports is what helps. And training wise, it's a lot of similar training because it's a lot of explosive work. Um, on the end of your throw, you want to explode out of your hips, kind of the same with a tackle or throwing a block or whatever it might be. I've never really thought about it too much either, just because I've done both since high school, kind of in the similar field of it helps football being in the mornings for sure. So then I get that out of the way, and then afternoon is track time. It was the same thing in high school. We'd have 6 a.m., 6:45 a.m. workouts, weights, whatever it might be, and then in the afternoon I go throw. So I guess doing that since high school, this is my sixth year doing that routine. It's pretty normal to me now. I think with football, there needs to be a little bit more energy in addition to focus. With track, this might be a little weird because a lot of people get really energetic for track, but for me, I think a lot. I know my coach doesn't like that, but I was thinking about multiple aspects of my throws. I'm not thinking. Some people will tell you, okay, just think about one or two uh, things to work on today. Like, okay, you got to turn your right foot and have a level arm and discus or something like that. But I kind of think about a bunch of different stuff when I'm throwing all the time, so I'm always trying to at least mentally focus, and then everything else will take care of itself. But when I play football, you kind of need energy, or it's just not going to be a good time. You just need to, even if you have to fabricate it. Energy is, I would say, a little bit more important in football, but focus is definitely a must in both. There hasn't been a ton of events where I've been at my very best at each throwing event in the same day. Fortunately for me, with shot put and discus, the technique is very similar because I spin in both events. So with that similar, at least footwork, I can really, I don't have too much of a mental lapse in between events. The the big difference for me is honestly the order of events. I like to throw shot put first because I think it's at this point my most comfortable event. I can really get into a good motion. I can, if I get a good mark in shot put off the bat, then I can really move on. But uh, discus and hammer, I'm a little bit less consistent at. So if I get a bad mark in discus, I kind of think about it the rest of like, oh man, I could have done this or that, and it might distract me a little bit. Um, and then hammer's a completely different beast. I haven't thrown hammer much. It's only my second year throwing hammer. I have a phenomenal hammer coach in Coach Adam Riddle, but it's still a work in progress. Still a lot to be done there. So that one is that one's a I need a big mental break in between shot and disc and hammer. But shot and disc are I kind of consider the same almost, and then hammer's just a different thing altogether.